The biggest mistake I made in my business was not hiring a professional to help me with my money. Not just my taxes, but the actual plan I had for my business. I was completely lost on how to handle taxes, what to do with profit, and how to maintain my income. I had to find a better way. That's when I found Core Financial. Core Financial is a team of tax professionals that actually care about building real relationships with their clients. They run my books, keep me up to date with my finances, and make sure I'm taking full advantage of all of my tax benefits. Are you struggling with your finances? Look no further. Core Financial is a brand that is nationwide that can help you with your business. Both Nick and I are huge fans of Core, and they can help you too. Check out howtofilmweddings.com/core to schedule a consultation today. Core Financial, real relationships, no surprises. Hello and welcome to How to Film Weddings. My name is John Bunn. I'm joined by my bearded co-host, the one, the only, Mr. Nicholas Deep Nuggets Miller. Nick.
You wanted to say my middle name, but you didn't know it.
Scott.
Oh, you do know that. You just know me better than I know you.
You don't know my middle name.
Isn't it something like Daniel or David or...
Isn't it something like Daniel or David? Well, my older brother's name is Daniel.
See, I knew that there was a Bunn that had the last name Daniel.
That doesn't make any sense. A Bunn that had the last name Daniel? How many drinks have you had today?
I mean, I had this cold brew coffee from Starbucks.
Well, my middle name is David, so you were.
I said Daniel or David.
You got it ish, but yes, I know you better than you know me. Nick, I will say this: as recording, we just got through playing around with our new cameras,
our C70s,
and I messed up my shutter speed because I wasn't even paying attention because I was so excited.
Well, it comes stock with angle for the shutter, and I have always shot mine on shutter speed instead of angle, and so
but I just didn't even mess with it. Yeah, I knew I knew it was wrong after I shot it.
Well, right, but it's okay. I mean, you saw it was 180, and you were probably thinking, we're shooting 60 frames per second. It needs to be at least 120. We'll be fine.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
not used to the mirror or the monitor and stuff yet, but I will say this: I haven't shot a wedding yet with this camera, but I think it's going to change the game for me. So I'm really excited. Just from the little bit of frames that we've seen as we've been preparing, pretty good stuff.
Yeah, so, I'm definitely really excited about that camera. Definitely shooting in it. Hopefully, I just sent out, a booking just a little bit ago yesterday to a couple that's getting married in Mexico in Cabo. So Cabo wedding with the C70s would be awesome.
Yes. And I mean, all we have to do now is purchase one more of them, get 2 speed boosters, a new computer, a bunch of new lenses, and a bunch of new SD cards and batteries, and we'll be good to go.
We'll be good. We're
just like that. Just another $15,000 out of pocket. No big deal.
No big deal.
But
NBD.
It's a new year.
It is a new year.
We are together still here in Wichita recording together. So if you're watching on YouTube, hi. This is what you get right now from these episodes. We got some new microphones. It's a new year. We're really excited. And we were talking with the moderators of our Facebook group and said, hey, what are some topics that you want to hear? And they gave us a bunch of different topics. And we've been on this kick of our goals and getting everything implemented. And so today we wanted to have an episode just talking about things that you can do right now to make you more productive. Mm-hmm. Hopefully you're not too backlogged. Hopefully you're in a good spot where you can really start to focus on you at the beginning of the year. And so we wrote down 5 things we thought of that we are planning to implement right now to make us more productive. So we hope this episode helps you and gets you in that mindset of how can I be more productive this year? How can I be in the driver's seat? How can I be the one to set my schedule?
Yes. And so the very first thing that we think that you should do to be more productive is piggybacking off of last week's episode where it was writing down your goals every day. Last summer, I was the most productive because I sat down and when I woke up every morning, before I did anything else, I just made this list and I wrote down my goals. I had my yearly goals, my yearly goals, kind of my monthly goals, and then my daily tasks that I needed to do. And I just reviewed those and I looked over them and I wrote them down every single day. And that helped me so much just kind of focus and figure out the important things that I needed to get done that day.
And I remember this summer because you'd be like, hey, I'm working on this, and this today. We need you to do this, and this. And it like actually really helped me to be like, oh yeah, that is what we should be doing. You were thinking about it. You were preparing for it. And, with our podcast or with your, you were like, this day I need to be editing for Wild Oak Films, and this day, because you were out in front of it. And I think so many of us spend so much time responding to emails, paying attention to messages on Facebook. And like, we really want you to be involved in our Facebook community, but we want you to not only be involved in our Facebook community. We want you to maybe take a break from editing and spend 15 minutes chatting over on Facebook or Instagram or things like that. But I think so many of us are so distractible that if we don't write down our goals, we just kind of, the day happens and we're like, what did we even accomplish today?
Right. If you don't, you kind of equate it to a budget, your time, John has said this before, and I know it's something that he picked up from somewhere, is like, if you don't have a budget, you will run out of money before the end of you have too much month left at the end of your money or whatever.
Yeah. I didn't coin that. I think that was Dave Ramsey, but yes.
But something like that. And it's the same thing with budgeting your time in your day. If you don't sit down and make out a task and tell yourself how you are going to spend your time, you're going to run out of time. And you still have things that you want to do because you didn't allocate it and you didn't do it right. And I know in the times in my life, whenever I have sat down and I've written my goals and I've made a plan for the day, it has helped me so much get done what I needed to get done.
Like, do you remember the days before COVID where you would like you'd have a calendar and you would kind of plan out the hours of your day?
Yes.
And like whenever I was in my early 20s, I did this internship at a church, and they made us get a Franklin Covey planner that had like every single day, and they made us like to teach us to be organized. You had to write all of your tasks on the first page, and then there were spots for your calendar and your time, and you'd have to like draw a line saying from 8 to 9, I'm going to do this. From 9 to 10, and you wrote it out, and you could see what your whole day was going to look like. And I can't tell you how much I got done and how, like, I had to have a lot get done because I was an intern. I was working full time at a church, and I was also a full-time student, and like I had to organize everything. And so one thing that we're really honing in on this year is writing those things down, making them clear to see. If you have your yearly goals written out from last week, or the week before, I guess. But if you have your yearly goals written out where you can see them somewhere, whether that's on a whiteboard, on Post-it notes, on the top of your planner, writing those every day is great. I like to have those kind of out in front of me where it's like I can see the numbers, I can see, the things, the relationships, the stuff that are my goals. Like with my wife, my goals of being this kind of a husband or this much, date nights or whatever that is. Having those goals written out where I can see them changes everything. And then when I physically write out my goals for the day before I get started, like I'm picturing myself getting up, making coffee, sitting down on one of my, couches and saying, okay, here's my goals for the day. Here's my list for the day. Here's what I didn't get done last week or last night or yesterday or whatever. And I'm writing out today's goals and planning things out. I'm going to be a better husband if I do that. I'm going to be able to communicate better with my wife. I'm going to be able to communicate better with you about our business. It's like, hey, I have this time from this time to this time to get stuff done. And so physically writing out your goals for the day before you get started will drastically change your life. So that one of the first things, you can implement right now to make you more productive. It seems simple, but just write down your goals every day. And then once you've written those out, Nick, you've got to organize those in priority.
Yeah.
And like when it comes down to it, you can't spend all day doing things that are not priority.
Right. One thing that, I've heard and picked up and that sort of thing, we're going to talk about this in the next point about eliminating distractions. But when you organize and prioritize your goals, that also means that you need to organize and prioritize stuff like email or Facebook or social media and treat it as a thing on your to-do list. How many times I remember I would do this all the time when I was editing and I had to warp stabilize a clip, which took 30 seconds to do. So whenever I would warp stabilize a clip, I just hop over to Facebook, do some little chatting or whatever. And before I knew it, it was 15 minutes later.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, why did I just waste all of that time? And so whenever you have your day kind of figured out, like there are several people that I follow, with their podcasts or their blogs or books and like that, authors and those kind of things where they say, okay, from 9 until 9:30, when I first get into the office, that's email time. And I only respond to emails from 9 to 9:30 and then 4:30 to 5. Those are the only times that I respond to emails, because if I get bombarded in email world, I get sucked in and I'm there for way too long. And so it's okay, as you're thinking about your goals and your task, if you want to take some time with social media or, just kind of vegging out or whatever, like you should have those breaks, but schedule those breaks and plan them out. So write down your goals every day, kind of map out a calendar for your day, as well. We're going to get to that in another point.
And when you're taking these breaks, and I know this is off script, but taking the breaks, I can't tell you how great it is if you're in an office or in your studio, get up, walk outside for like 5 minutes. Don't take your phone with you and just take like a 5-minute walk and get some oxygen and get outside and freshen yourself. Like your brain needs breaks. So like, don't sit there and like nose to the grindstone all day long. Like take those breaks, organize your day. And then we'll get to point number 2 on 5 things you can implement right now to make you more productive. Nick mentioned it a second ago, eliminating distractions. You're really good at this topic. I'll let you start.
Yeah. So first thing, write down your goals, write down your tasks for every single day. Every single day, especially when you're working, so you can, and another thing to touch on that, writing down your goals, is there's something very satisfying that most people like writing down something and just crossing it off your to-do list. Like it gives you a sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
And then, hey, I wrote 10 things down on my list. I only accomplished 7 of them, but I accomplished 7 and there was only 3 that I did. So it kind of gives you that pride. Oh, I did something. I did it. Might be kind of a weird pat on the back, but hey, you set out to do something and you did something. So there's that one to that. Eliminating distractions. That's the second one. The biggest thing that I have learned, especially when it's time for me to sit down and edit, it takes me a long time to get into the editing mode. And usually when I get in it, I'm like in it and I'm in the zone, but it takes me a while to get there. So the things that have really helped me, one is to turn off the Wi-Fi on my computer and put my phone on D&D and put it face down. Take it, literally put it face down. So if it lights up, I can't see it, and just leave it there. I give myself, I set a timer and, okay, I will give myself an hour to work, and then I will take a couple minutes of break to stretch, go to the bathroom, get a drink, whatever. I can check my phone, but then I go back to editing. But eliminating as many distractions as you can really help you get a lot of work done. These photographers that have turned into educators and they have podcasts and stuff, Amy and Jordan Demos, they're in Arizona. They seem to be great people and really great business minds and stuff. And on his podcast, he was talking about productivity, and he talked a lot about an airplane. Okay. And he's like, what's the hardest part of an airplane? When does the airplane work the hardest? And he's like, it's at takeoff and at landing. Whenever you get that plane up in the air, you're just kind of coasting. You're just kind of soaring. And he said, the thing whenever we come to work is it's like we sit down, we work for 5 minutes, we do over here, and we're trying to multitask, which you can't really multitask. It's not really a thing. We just like to think it is. So you get started, which is the hardest part. And then 5 minutes in, you're stopping to do this, you're stopping to do that, instead of just kind of coasting and riding it. So if you can, treat yourself as an airplane and get yourself up and going and work for, 45, an hour and a half on something, and then land your plane, and kind of take your break and then take off again, I think that will help you. So eliminating distractions is going to be a huge thing for that.
That is huge. I was sitting there thinking, I wonder when the last time that, the listeners out there, like ask yourself, when was the last time you went an hour during the workday without looking at your phone or your notifications on the internet? Like when was the last time you just spent a full hour doing work that is benefiting you and your business? And I am very guilty of this. Like I love interacting with, if Nick sends me a text, if I see that or whatever, or my wife, and so you have to just be very like the people that I know that take 2 hours to get back to me via text message or something are some of the most productive people that I know. And it's because they're focused, their intent is all about being productive in their lives. And so do yourself a favor, turn your phone over, turn it on Do Not Disturb. And then another little point about eliminating distractions is like you need to communicate to anybody that might need to get a hold of you or whatever. Hey, I'm going to take an hour. I'm not going to just like, I let my wife know like, hey, just so you know, I'm putting my phone on Do Not Disturb for an hour. If you need me, call me a few times, it'll buzz or whatever. Or, now that we're working together from I'm at home and she's at home, I'm like shutting the door and saying, hey, I'm going in here. I'm turning off my phone. I'm just going to work. If you need something, let me know, but I'm really focused. And I just kind of reiterate, this is important time. Like I'm going to come out in a couple hours, an hour. And what happens when you do that, once you've written down your goals every day, you start eliminating those distractions. It helps you mentally, all these triggers, you get into this sweet spot, whether you're editing or whether you're running your business or whatever, where most people in about 2 hours of this get done, get more done for them than other people in their business, the same types of businesses that spend all day because they're so distracted.
What is it? There's somebody did some major study and of people that are under 45 that have full-time jobs that like desk jobs. It's something like on average in an 8-hour workday, they only actually get done 2 hours of work because they're so distracted by people there that they're talking to or email or phone calls, or maybe they're business related, but it's like, I need to get my work done and I'm not only about 2 hours of work. So if you can get 2 hours of work done in a day, like you're like, oh, way ahead of the game,
And it's interesting because like there's so many days where I get to the end of the day and I'm like, wow, I worked hard today. I did a lot. I got a lot done. And I'm like, wait, what did I even get done?
Busyness does not equal accomplishment.
Exactly. And there, like, to be honest, with this society being so distractible, like, if you're not focused on being intent, like having intent with where you're going and what you're doing, and you're not eliminating distractions, like you will waste 80% of your work life. That is the norm at this point. Like 80% of what your time is on things that feel like they're productive, but don't actually make a difference in your life. And so if you're really going in every morning, spending 10 or 15 minutes and writing down your goals, checking off things from the days before, moving things, prioritizing and saying, this is the most pressing thing that I need to get done for my business today, not the most on fire thing, but like, this is the most important thing for me to do. Yes, there are things we need to like put out fires and respond to certain things, or if somebody emails and they're upset about something. I mean, there's things where it's like, I'm going to go ahead and take care of that first. But most people don't take the time to write down a distraction or write down their goals or eliminate distractions. So they're kind of like a boat on the ocean. It's like, I'm just going to go wherever the waves take me. And so there is so much more to get to. Anything else on eliminating distractions before we head to break?
And on the eliminating distractions thing, I think that it's something that you really just need to decide you are going to do and commit to it. It can be really, I want to say naked, vulnerable, like for you to like have your phone and like put it in DND and turn it off. Mm-hmm. Like that's just the society we live in. It just feels weird. Oh, what if someone calls me? Well, okay. Well, who calls you anymore anyways? Or what if someone texts me or something like, well, you can get back with them in an hour. If it's really important, they'll figure out a way to get a hold of you or something like that. So these are great steps that whenever I implement them, my productivity goes way up. So we have a few more things that you can implement right now that can help you in your business to be more productive. And we will get to those right after this break. What would you take on if you had an extra set of hands? What would you do with your free time if you didn't have to edit? So many of us get bogged down in the post-production hustle that we never seem time to focus on our business. John and I both felt that way. until we found Wedditor. Wedditor is a post-production team of top wedding film editors and project managers that give your films and brand the extra eyes, ears, and hands that they need. Not only is Wedditor delivering films we love to our couples faster, but we can invest ourselves fully in other areas of our business knowing that Wedditor has our back. Be the first to know how your second shooters are doing, how those new LUTs work with your footage, and relax knowing your couples are getting the full attention they deserve on every single project. So what could you do with an extra hand? Head over to howtofilmweddings.com/Wedditor, whether you're ready to start now or preparing for next season. Be sure to use promo code HTFW for $50 off your first project. If you're interested in this service, make sure you head over to howtofilmweddings.com/Wedditor soon. Fall 2020 spots are lined up and filling up fast. Wedditor, more than freelance, more than outsourcing.
Finding the perfect song for your wedding film can be so frustrating. We spend countless hours searching for the perfect song. When it comes to licensing music, Nick and I both love MusicBed. Not only do they have the best music, but their website makes it so easy to find the perfect song and to find it fast. We have both been using the MusicBed's wedding subscription for years and cannot recommend it enough. Not only are they adding new music from incredible musicians like Chapters, The Light, The Heat, and Tony Anderson all the time, they've made it incredibly easy to search their library for mood, genre, instrumentation, and even key. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to howtofilmweddings.com/musicbed and use promo code HTFW for a free month of a MusicBed wedding subscription. howtofilmweddings.com/musicbed.
And we are back from break. John, we're going to go ahead and jump into our question of the day presented by Wedditor. Wedditor, more than freelance, more than outsourcing. Guys, we really love and appreciate Wedditor, not only for their sponsorship, but mostly because of the work that they do for us. And it has drastically changed our lives. We highly recommend them. Head over to howtofilmweddings.com/Wedditor. If you would like someone to edit your wedding films, very much like how you edit your wedding
They do it better than I do it now. So, I mean, they are way more than freelance and way more than outsourcing.
Yes.
For sure.
So our question of the day, we're talking about things to implement right now to make you more productive. We've said, write down your goals every day, eliminate distractions. My question of the day is this. What is the third thing in the 5 things that you can implement right now to make your business more productive? What's the third thing?
Nick said he had the question at the break. He was ready for it.
I was ready for it.
I didn't know what he was going to say.
That's a good question.
Luckily, I wrote the answer for this. So
you
this
sure did.
is great. So like Nick said, we're writing down our goals. We're eliminating distractions. And the next thing that kind of falls in line with that is number 3, which is setting a realistic schedule and sticking to it. Mm-hmm. I know how excited I get. I'm going to go conquer the world. I'm going to get everything taken care of. I am pedal to the metal, full throttle. I'm going for it. That's me. I'm all in or not in at all. And so I have to be self-aware. I have to know myself. I have to know my tendencies. And, I have to set a realistic schedule. I'm going to for sure I have to get this thing done today. If I get this thing and this thing done, number 1 and 2, I'm very happy. If I get 1, 2, and 3 done, I'm super happy, or whatever it is. But knowing yourself, setting a realistic schedule, one thing that I used to do, and especially when I had a lot more on my plate, was I would set up like every day from 8 to noon was editing. And every day from 1 to 5 was the business. And so like I knew that like I only can edit for 4 hours a day. I just am going to burn myself out or whatever. And so I knew the mornings I was going to edit. In the afternoons, I was going to get back to emails and do different things. So I set a realistic schedule. Mm-hmm. And I knew if I was looking at my schedule for the week, I knew if I had a wedding on Saturday that I was going to take Friday afternoon off. And I knew that I was going to take, or I was going to take Monday off or whatever. So I could be looking and planning my schedule and being very realistic to it. And then having to stick to it.
Yeah. I know for myself, John and I are, 3s on the Enneagram, and we're kind of have some big picture ideas and kind of get really excited about stuff. And I remember as I would like sit down and do my schedule, I would like talk to Jen, and I was like, she's like, we need to get these edits. And I was like, okay, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to get, Ashley and Justin's wedding done, and I'm going to get Mackenzie and Tyler's wedding done, and I'm going to cull through this wedding over here. When I had started on none of them, but I was like, I'm going to finish 2 films and cull another one all this week. whenever, like my normal work, whenever I'm editing all the time, like it usually takes me, about a week to do one wedding for all of that stuff. And that's if I'm like really on it and really attentive to it, but I just get so excited. And I think that when it comes to setting a schedule and sticking to it, writing down, your goals, all this kind of stuff is like playing on each other, right? Like writing down your goals and then sticking to that schedule. Like it wasn't possible for me to do that. It was just way too much on my plate. Another thing that you need to do when it comes to setting a schedule, there are so many of you out there that are working a 9 to 5 and doing this on top of yourself, on top. I know that you want to be wedding videographers full time, but you're just not there yet. And your 9 to 5 job is the one that's paying the bills, that you're making money. And so like, in a way, that one needs to take priority because that's the one that you live off of, right? So you need to set your schedule. Like you're not able to work from 9 to 5 and then work from 6 to 2 a.m. and then get up and do it again the next, like that's
you might be able to do it for one day.
Yeah, you might be able to do that for a short burst of time, or if you're up against a deadline or something and you have to get something done, but like that's not sustainable, okay? So you need to figure out a schedule that's realistic and works for you, and you need to know yourself. You need to know, okay, I tend to be more lazy, or I tend to, when I commit, I overcommit, or I obsess. And when I get started, I can't stop. Like you just need to figure out yourself, pace yourself in your schedule. So I think that John's advice was really great, that what he would do is like, okay, from, 8 to noon is editing, and then 1 to 5 is business. Do something like that with your schedule, and that will set you up to succeed.
And when you're making your schedule, I recommend, if you're married or if you have a business partner, or both, like I like on Mondays or on Sundays, looking through my calendar for the full week coming up and kind of seeing what meetings I need to have, seeing what brides I need to meet with, seeing what grooms or planners or whatever I'm doing, like what's kind of on the schedule. Cause some of those things fill in based on their availability. And, it's like, okay, well, I'm meeting this bride downtown on Thursday afternoon. So I know that on Thursday morning, I want to get these things done. But looking, on my calendar, my Google Calendar, I can see 2 weeks at a time. So like this week and next week. And it just helps me, like it's one of the tabs that I leave open a lot, is it just helps me to see. But if you actually physically schedule that on your Google Calendar, like 8 to noon every day, editing, it's just a trigger in your mind that's like, I'm setting the schedule. This is what I'm doing. And if I need to move this, I can grab it and drag it to like 10 to 2 or whatever, but I'm scheduling this amount of time. And by sitting there and knowing my schedule for the week, like the weeks that my wife and I sit down and we go over our schedule together, those are good weeks. Like those end up being way better weeks.
Especially, in your marriage relationship or your business relationships. There's this thing that I picked up from Dave and Rachel Hollis. Well, I don't know if they're not together anymore. Doesn't matter. But they talked about front loading their week. And what they would do is they would sit down every Sunday and say, this is the stuff that has to happen this week. This is the stuff that has to go on this week. And, I know that Jen and I would get in fights because we would wake up on Thursday morning and be like, who's taking the kids to school today? Because we hadn't talked about it. Now on Sunday night, if we talk about it and we say, Thursday, you're taking the kids to school and I'm picking them up. Like Thursday, she might wake up and not want to do it and be frustrated that she has to do it. But we talked about it and we front loaded the week with it. So if you can sit down and kind of plan and front load your week like that and have the stuff on your calendar, it's way more helpful so that on Monday you wake up and you know what you have to do rather than sit there for an hour, play on your phone, look at your email and think, oh, what am I going to do? And so with going into the next thing, so setting a realistic schedule. Oh, John has something to say. He's giving me the finger.
So
he just,
I'm not giving you the what?
well, he does this. If you can, he just kind of like
this
taps.
was like, hey, my turn. I need to say something. Nick was saying something really good, so it made me think of something. We talked to a lot of husband-wife teams where the wife is kind of the editor, the main shooter, and the husband, is home too, or vice versa or whatever. But like, it seems as though they're frustrated because they're behind in edits or they're behind in certain things. And whether you are a solopreneur or work with your spouse or not, but like watching people be like, I'm behind on edits. I have kids. I've got stuff going on. And I think that one mentor session, I said to the young lady, I was like, you need to set time that's just for you to just edit and tell your husband, this is when I'm just going to edit. And it gives you freedom to not feel guilty about doing your work right now. He's going to watch the kids. He knows that on every day from this time to this time, that's mom's time to get stuff done for the business or whatever. And there's this freedom that comes with setting a budget for your time or setting a budget with your like your finances. Like it really changes the game. And so if you want to be productive, you have to be able to set a realistic schedule and stick to it. So
yes.
That I'm done tapping on the desk now.
Done. Yeah. So writing down your goals for every day, eliminating distractions, setting a realistic schedule. And then the next thing we want to chat about is educating yourself.
Preach.
There is so much good that can come from you learning from other people, learning from people that are really good at money, that are really good at time management, that are really good with sleep schedule, whatever it may be. If you want to better yourself and become more productive, learn from people that are productive. Okay. So read books. There are so many books out there on being productive, on conquering your business, on being a great business person. And if you can just implement a nugget or two from those books, like it's going to drastically improve your business. There's this thing called podcasts. John, do you know of any good podcasts? I don't know if I know of any good podcasts out there.
I don't know.
Lots of podcasts on businesses and how to live your life and self-help and like that sort of stuff. And then, there are different various online courses, like we have a course about, your business and that kind of stuff. And that's not necessarily specifically talking about, being more productive, but if you can learn how to run your business better and make more money doing what you're doing, then you can be more efficient. But there's lots of different courses out there online that you can take. The real thing when it comes to education is that there isn't a secret sauce to this. I could read a book and it'd do nothing for me and it could totally change John's life. I could take an online course that totally changes my life and my business and John could watch it and be like, meh, like I didn't get anything from it. That it just kind of depends where you are in life, but educating yourself, teaching yourself, investing in yourself is something that that can drastically affect your productivity right now.
Right. I'm making myself some notes here.
You are making yourself some notes. So do you want me to keep talking?
Sure, you can. I was making myself a note. What I'm sitting here thinking is like, we're together recording and we've recorded a lot of episodes about being productive and getting things in order. And I'm just sitting here taking like I'm motivated by what we're saying, like, because again, this is not how I live my life every day. I wish it was.
Right.
And I want to be a better version of me. And I know these things. And that's why I'm excited about these episodes, because I'm getting motivated from hearing you talk and reading through these notes. And I'm just hoping that the people that are out there listening are thinking, this year I'm going to do something different. I'm going to make these changes. And when you said there isn't a secret sauce, I think so many people think that they're just going to wake up and have $1 million in the bank.
Oh yeah.
And they just think they're going to wake up and be an influencer. And they, it's like this whole world of Amazon Prime and microwaves and like, just, I want it now, I get it now, or I'm upset. And if you submit yourself to a process and if you have a plan, just doing that over time, that's the secret sauce. Like
absolutely,
the quickest way to get rich is to get rich slow. Like that's the quickest way, and it's like the quickest way to get productive is to get productive slowly. Like take your time, figure these things out, learn what makes you tick. And so educating yourself, for me, getting up a little 30 minutes earlier, putting on some coffee and reading a little bit of a self-help book in the morning, that gets me amped for the day. That gets me really excited. That gets me, and I read a lot and I take a lot of online courses. I'm a big believer in online courses. Over Black Friday, I think we bought 4 courses or something like that.
we bought, something like that.
And, we have a course. If you haven't picked that up, it's going to be available again, I'm soon sure. But there's courses about weddings, there's courses about marriage, there's courses about financial things. I mean, just getting yourself in that mindset of educating yourself and growing hearing from your friends, different, like talking, having conversations, that kind of thing. All of that is going to help you in your business. It's going to help. And why do we care about being productive? And it's because we want to serve our couples better. We want to serve our community better, the wedding community better, and elevate the industry itself. And so educating yourself, listening to podcasts like this, all good things. The fifth point, Nick, do you have a thing you want to?
I don't have a thing.
Okay. You didn't tap? I'm sorry.
No.
We kind of alluded a little bit to this, but number 5 on this list, surround yourself with productive people or people that make you want to be productive. Mm-hmm. And that could be your spouse, that could be friends, that could be friends from church or friends from a social group. But surrounding yourself with people or a chamber of commerce or whatever, people that are winning in your community, people that that are successful. Like the more you hang out with people that are successful, the more you become successful. And so surrounding yourself with productive people.
Right. I always find it really interesting that, like in my life, whenever I've had like money struggles or money problems, the people that give me frequent advice about money problems are people that have money problems themselves. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. And so like, I want to get out of those. I want to change it, but taking advice from people that are in the exact same situation, making the same mistakes that I am, like that just doesn't work. Mm-mm. Right? You need to surround yourself with the right people. And whenever you partner with someone, have someone to hold you accountable, that is very productive. There's a guy from my church that whenever I kind of really launched my business and wanted to like take it to the next level, I went out to lunch with him several times. He's a guy that's waking up at 5:30 every morning, and he's, at the office by 6:15, and he's like doing like, I would get emails from him at like 6:15 in the morning. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Stuff like that, because productive. And that's just how he worked. But that was someone that I surrounded myself with. And I think that it started to get me into this right mindset of what I wanted to do with my life and my business so that I could succeed. We've said it before, you are going to be, the people that you hang out with and the education that you consume. Like that's who you're going to be in the next year or two. So who are you surrounding yourself with? If you are with people that are lazy, that aren't working, that aren't getting stuff done, if you're hanging out with those people, then guess what? That's probably how you're going to be.
Yeah. And surrounding yourself with the right kind of people or the right kinds of, information, you start thinking about, okay, what if there was this world where I wrote down my goals every single day, and every day I eliminated distractions, where I had uninterrupted time to do work and to focus on things that matter. Mm-hmm. Not even just for work's sake, but just eliminating distractions while you're reading or whatever it is, just like putting the phone away for just a little bit, turning it off, making sure that people aren't bugging you, go for a walk, just eliminating distractions. If we're setting realistic goals and a realistic schedule and sticking to it, if we're educating ourselves and if we're surrounding ourselves with productive people, we will have a much more productive 2021, 2022. Can you imagine a world where if you did this every day for a year, like where would we be? What would we be doing?
I don't know.
It would be insane-o.
It would be insane-o. John, I think you might have some sort of bonus thing that can make you more productive.
That is one thing I was thinking about, like just if I don't set a mood in my office or my studio of productivity, if it feels too cold or if it, like temperature wise, or if it feels, like I feel rushed or I feel hungry or if I feel whatever, it's like, you need to know yourself and know like, okay, if I put on some Taylor Swift and crank it, I'm going to like get in a creative zone. So I'm going to turn some music on. I'm going to like crank that up. I'm just going to enjoy it and get myself, I'm about to edit. I want to feel creative. I'm going to throw some whatever. Or it may be something like, okay, I'm doing some culling. It's some mindless work. I'm going to turn on a podcast and listen to that. But like setting a mood and a tone for yourself, that is going to during your days, really be focusing on your mood and how you feel and like things that make you tick and things that make you excited. And, if I throw on some like 90s rap music, I'm going to get excited. I'm going to dance around. I'm going to know the lyrics. And that makes me, have a better experience during my day and gets me, out of my little slump or whatever. So that was just a little bonus stuff.
Yeah. Setting the mood for yourself. Know what gets you going. One thing that has really helped me is, first thing in the morning when I wake up, getting to the gym and working out and like getting that out of the way. So I feel like before my day has even really started, I feel like, and I know I have accomplished something. Mm-hmm. If you kind of start accomplishing something, then it kind of makes accomplishing other things the rest of the day a lot easier to do. Anyways, we really hope that this episode has been helpful for you to become more productive. So I'm going to go over this list again. Write down your goals each day. Eliminate your distractions where you can. Setting realistic schedule. Stick to that schedule. What was the other one? Educating yourself, reading books, listening to podcasts, that sort of stuff. And then surround yourself with productive people. And then as you're working, setting the mood.
Set the mood, baby.
Oh, man.
Nick just set the mood.
Oh, did I ever?
Yeah, set that mood, buddy.
Thanks, Barry White. Anyway, so those are things that we know that will help you be more productive in your business. John, it has been great to talk with you again today. Thank you to our mod, Matthew Reed, who actually was the one that suggested this topic, some stuff to become more productive.
Yeah, thanks, Matthew.
Yeah, Matthew, thank you for this idea.
What a cool dude.
He is a really cool dude. If there's anything that you want to hear us talk about on the podcast, feel free to reach out to us in our Facebook group or even on Instagram. We're on Instagram. How to Film Weddings, Instagram.
We are on the IGs.
We are on the IGs. John, it has been great to talk with you again. And until next time, we will see ya.
See ya.